Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool review is going to be another bilateral laser distance measure, and by bilateral I mean it has two lasers, so that's very different from many of your laser distance measures that are out there that you might have had. You know, I've got several Bosch ones I've had over the years where you've got this one laser, you set this in flat against the wall or the floor or whatever it might be, you get your measurements. So this one has two lasers. It shoots a laser out of one end and the other. This one is the INKERMA DM262. They sent me this out. I did not pay for that. So I'm going to mark it paid promotion even though they're not paying me to make this video. I'm just making this as a thank you to them for sending this to me. And then more so than anything, I'm making this so that you can see the features, why you might want one, all those kinds of things like that. Because I think this dual laser measure, I just had a review for the Sigma CD60. Both of these companies contacted me at pretty much about the same time, and I didn't know there was such a thing out there. So I got both these in to compare them in a way, but I'm going to go over this one, what you get, the features of it, talk about why you might need one of these as if you've not watched that video, because you may just be watching this one because this is the one that you've been looking for, and share with you why I think that the benefit of this is great for how I use it, because as I've used both these over the last couple weeks, I have figured out why I really like this dual laser measure more so than a single. So we'll go over that, but let's go ahead and get into what you get in the box and the features. So let's talk about what you get in the box, and this is going to run you about $80 on Amazon, but they have a $15 off coupon. Now whether that's there all the time or not, I don't know. It's been there every time I've checked. So that puts this in at $65. So this is what you're going to get for your $65. You're going to get your laser distance measure here. You're also going to get a case that you can keep the laser distance measure in and put it around your belt if you'd like to. It's not a clip, it's one that you got to put your belt through. I don't personally use these, but I know several people do like to have things like this for certain tools. If you're somebody who's walking around and measuring and that's all you do, that might be handy for you to have. Mine is things that I get out occasionally. I don't wear it every single day or anything like that. So you get these two things. You also get the instruction manual. Very important for you to keep this because the functions in here, it's going to help you how to get to those different things whenever you can't remember, because there's going to be certain times where you want to go to something you're not going to remember because there's a lot of buttons you have to push to get to different things. You also get a wristlet that you can put on. It's got two little holes right here that you slide that through and loop it inside if you want to put it on. Again, I'm not going to put that on mine because you put that here, sometimes that is going to hang over and get in the way of what you're measuring, so I just decided not to put that on. And then you get a USB-C charging cable, so it is charged by USB-C. You don't get the block, but you do get the cable. Again, as I've mentioned many times, it seems like that's the norm these days. You guys let me know in the comments below why that is. I don't know why all companies, it seems like, have decided to do that. Maybe there was something passed that I don't know, some kind of thing that says they can't give out extra charging blocks. I don't need it, and I guess that makes sense. Maybe they know everybody's already got 1,000 of those, so they just don't give them out anymore. So you do get that. When you plug it in to charge it, it's going to show a half battery being charged, and then whenever it's fully charged, it kicks over to show a full battery. It doesn't blink or anything, but it does show you those things to let you know it's charged. So that's what you get in the box for your $65 with the coupon, $80 regular price. Now let's go over the features. Function wise, I'm going to press this MES button, or as you can see, it's got the power on there as well. All these buttons have two functions, whether you short press or long press them. I'm going to press that once. Screen's going to come on. Again, a white screen with black letters. The Sigma was a black screen with white letters, so maybe if that's the big difference for you, you can maybe see these a little bit better, but it all really depends on the lighting situation that you might be in. These things up at the top show up all the time. You have your battery indicator there. This shows that it's full. You also have your angle that you're currently at right now, and that angle works very similar to that of the Sigma. And see if I can get in here. I'm at 90 if I'm completely upright this way, and then it changes to 0 as I go back and lay flat, whether that's front or backwards, and then I'm at 0 here if I put it this way, and it goes up to 90. So you basically can go either way, get whatever your angles are. It shows those. I think that that's a great feature because it would help you maybe to see. You could use this as a little level, you know, if you wanted to get to 0. If you put it on top of a washing machine or whatever it is, you could use it as that if that's something that you wanted to do. Here is the function mode. Right now I'm in single measurement mode. That changes as you change the function. and then up here you can see where you're measuring off of your laser. Right now I'm measuring 2 arrows, so I'm measuring out the front and the back using the dual laser, and it's measuring off the back side here of the device, so that's where that measurement is coming from as well. So that's always up there on the screen. Now let's get into what all these buttons do, what functions you can have. So the first button that we have here is a screen rotation. I can press this and it rotates the screen whatever direction that I want to go to. So it doesn't automatically adjust. You have to change that. So if you get in a position, say I'm in this position, but my measurements are, you know, upside down at that point, I can obviously just change that, hit that button, swap it around to where it's exactly how I want to read it. And then also if you hold that button down, it's going to go into magnification mode to make your measurement be large. And what that is that's the overall measurement. Because if I go back, right now I'm in dual laser mode, I would get the measurement from one side of my laser, measurement from the other side, and then the total length overall. If I long press that, it magnifies it and just gives me that total length. If that's all that I'm going for and I want to see that real big, I can do that. So let's go ahead and get this flipped back around, and now we'll get into the second one, which is all these cubes here are the different modes that you can go into. So if I short press that, I have single measurement mode, which is just giving you that one measurement. I'm going to press the button. It's going to tell me whatever that measurement is that I'm looking for, and then I got to press the plus and minus buttons to scroll through here. You got to go all the way through those. So if I wanted to get down here to this angle right here, I can't go down by pressing this. I've got to go all the way through all these just to get to that. And then now I can press this and I will be into that function mode. But if I want to go back, I've either got to go back through and it will start over at the beginning, or I got to go backwards to get to those. So these are your different modes that you have. You have single measurement mode, continuous measurement mode, and then area, volume, 3 different height, hypotenuse versions of things, whether it's indirect height or whatever it might be. This one does have a angle calibration. If we go down here, that allows you to, if you've got someplace that's 100% level, you don't feel like this thing is being accurate, you can go into that, set it on there, and recalibrate your angle if you'd like to do that. Or maybe you want to have 45 degrees be your zero. You could set it up on 45 degrees, zero it, and then do that. And then what this right here is a list of all the measurements that you've taken up to, I think it's 100. So if I select that, it's going to show me all the last 11 measurements is what I've taken so far. And I can go through there and check those, and then I can also go back and delete those as I want to as well. So if I pick that, I can go back and forth scrolling through. That was my first measurement, that was my second measurement, that was my third, and so on. And then I can get down here and I can delete those out to make room for more measurements if that's what I need to do. So that's your functions that you get on this one. Very similar to the rest of them. The one nice thing too with this one is that continuous mode, which the Sigma had as well. If I go back into that, that's giving you 100% the measurement all the time. You'll see that it's continually changing wherever my measurement is between the 2 spots. So it's constantly, you don't have to sit there and hit buttons or things like that. That's a very useful feature to me. So that's the features and modes that you have on that. Some of the other things that you can do is hold down this button here and you can mute that sound, which I should have probably did that in the first place, because that's one thing I do say about this is that sound is pretty annoying. But again, they do have a thing here where you can long press this, it mutes that beeping noise. So if you're somewhere taking measurements in an office space and you don't want to bug people, that's definitely a nice thing to have. So now let's get back out and let me go to function mode, single measurement mode, and go over the units that you can have here. As you see here, there's units, so that's a long press. If I do that right now, I'm on feet and inches, and if I shoot something, you will see that I have 2 foot 2 inches and a 1/4 inch showing up. So it does show your fractions. But if I hold that down, I get into meters with 3 decimal points, hold it down again, inches with 3 decimal points, hold it down again. That's feet with 3 decimal points, hold it again, back to my feet, inches, fractions. So those are the modes that you have, or the units of measurement that you have. I have found that I've turned it off because I was curious to see, because it started out on meters. I've turned mine off and then turned it back on later, and it has stayed on this measurement. I do like that. I hate it whenever something starts up and something that I would never use, and I got to scroll through something from the very get-go to take care of that. So another feature that you have is, if you long press this button here, you can change where you measure off this device. Currently it's dual measurement mode. As I said, you can see 2 arrows here, 2 arrows there, and I'm measuring off the back side here. If I hold that down, it changes to single measurement mode. I've only got 1 laser, not 2, and it's measuring off this side of the device. So that's kind of like your standard laser measure that you've already got. This basically puts it in that kind of a mode. If I press and hold it again, I'm now measuring off the front side of the device with a single laser, not dual laser. I'm measuring off this side instead of this side, and then if I long press it again, you get in dual measurement mode. So again, more options of where you're measuring from, always helpful. These are the features. Those are the things that are on this one. Very similar to that of many other laser measures, but again, the main difference is the dual lasers. So why would you need that? As I've mentioned before in that Sigma video, one would be center of the room. If it's a really large room and your tape won't extend out, you can use this. You can put it in continuous mode, start shooting, walking down your wall until your 2 measurements kind of equal out. And then this would be where your center of the room is, because this one measures off of here instead of the center of your device. A little cumbersome to use, but it is useful in a pinch in really big rooms. The biggest thing that this is useful for is access. Again, if you have to get one edge against a wall or on the floor or wherever it is, sometimes you can't do that. I used the example before of if I've got a 12-foot hole in the ground that I can't get down into, and I need that measurement from the bottom of that hole to the top of the ceiling, I could do that just by sticking this over the hole into the ceiling and get that measurement. And overall, of the last couple weeks of me using these, I think that dual laser is extremely worth it for this very reason alone, is because now I can walk into a room, maybe especially if that room is, 100 feet by 100 feet. I'm not real sure. I couldn't find it in the instructions how far this thing measured, so I will put it up here in writing if I look it up and I can figure it out. I couldn't find what the actual max value was, but let's say I go into a 100-foot room with your standard laser measure. For me to get the measurements, I'm going to have to walk over to one wall, shoot 100 feet. And then I'm going to have to walk at least 50 feet if I was in the middle of that wall, over to the next wall, shoot across to get the other 100 feet. Whereas this one, with a dual laser, with you having a laser on both sides, I can basically walk into a room now. I can even hold this out just hand height. I don't have to bend over. Say I want a measurement from the floor to the ceiling. With this one, I've got to sit that on the floor. I've got to bend over awkward, look up to the ceiling, press that, find my dot, make sure it's hitting where I want it to hit. Take that, well, I can just hold this one out, press that button one time. I get my measurement from my floor to my ceiling. Don't even have to bend over. And then from that same exact spot where I'm standing, I can now turn it this way, press a button, I get that wall to this wall, then I can turn it this way, press a button, and get that wall to this wall. So I can get all 3 of those measurements without even taking a step as soon as I walk into a room. If I'm walking around with a customer, I no longer have to leave them or make them walk around with me. It's going to save you an extraordinary amount of steps in really big rooms. Again, I think that's why the dual laser is most beneficial. Whether or not you do very much of that work, that's the only way that you'll know whether or not it's worth it for you. So yeah, guys, that's the INKERMA DM262 bilateral distance measure. Again, dual lasers for 65 bucks. I think it's got a lot of good features, and to get that dual laser to help you maybe do stuff a little bit better, it might be worth it to you, but that's not up for me to decide. I'm just sharing with you the features, maybe the benefits, how it's helped me, just to try to help you make the best decision possible of what tool you might want to buy. So I hope I was helpful in that way. You guys let me know in the comments below, but as always, stay safe, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.